I think the last month, I've kind of touched on several scriptures in Isaiah 53 to just unravel all of our jacked up thinking about Isaiah 53 and 54. And so this morning, I think it was a month ago, or maybe it was in the Bible study. I don't know if it was in the Bible study or here. In one of the messages, I told everybody to consider what it meant that it said in Isaiah 53 that it pleased God for Jesus to be bruised. Let's see. Which verse is that? Let's see. Does anybody have that in front of them? They could see do the word bruised. Oh, 53:5. Okay, so he was bruised for our iniquities. Now explain the second part of that last week. And the second part of that is the explanation of the first part. But I told everybody to consider that in that verse it says bruised. And I told everybody to consider that in Genesis 3, it also speaks of being bruised. Okay? Now, because we've for so long interpreted scriptures from the mind of Adam, we have read Isaiah 53:5, where it talks about it pleased God for Jesus to be bruised. And because we understood it from the mind of Adam instead of the mind of Christ, Adam thought that God was angry with him and thought that God was mad at him, so he ran and hid from God because he felt fear and shame. So that's the mind of Adam. The mind of Adam is a mind that's filled with the thoughts that the Father is angry with them, that the Father is mad at them because of what they've done, and they want to hide from that guy for fear that when the Father comes, the Father is coming with anger and punishment against the Son. That's the mind of Adam. Now, for 2,000 years, we've been interpreting the Scriptures through the mind of Adam. And so when we read Isaiah 53:5 and we see that it says, it pleased the Father for Jesus to be bruised, we immediately think that that means it pleased the Father that Jesus would be bruised because the Father was so angry with us and now he could get his anger out for us on Jesus and so he could be pleased. But that's the mind of Adam, man. That's not the mind of Christ. And if we go back to Genesis 3, what does the Father say to the serpent? Because you've done this, you will crush or you will bruise the heel of the seed of woman. Now, that was God prophesying how he was going to deliver man from the serpent, from the one who had the power of death now reigning over man. And he was prophesying there was going to come a seed that would come from woman, and you would bruise the seed of woman's heel. Okay? Now, fast forward to Jesus on the cross. Now listen, when God says it pleased the Father for Jesus to be bruised, the reason why he said it pleased him was because Jesus could see, or the Father could see, that in Jesus being bruised by the serpent, by seeing Jesus being bruised by the sin and death that the serpent brought, that Jesus was crushing the head of the serpent. And if you look at Golgotha, the place where Jesus died, it's the place where David, after he cut off Goliath's head, buried Goliath's head in the ground. Now, David and Goliath, the fight between David and Goliath was a picture of Jesus fighting against the serpent. It's a picture of Jesus fighting against the wisdom of Satan or sin and death. And so when David conquered the serpent or the wisdom of sin and death, when he defeated Goliath, he chopped off his head and he brings it and he plants it at Golgotha, the very place where Jesus was crucified. And so in Jesus being crucified, at the place of the skull, it demonstrated his heel or his body being bruised by the death and the sin that the serpent brought to man. Now, why did God tell the serpent that you will crush or you'll bruise the heel? The reason why he says you'll bruise the heel, because in Jesus being bruised by the sin and death that the serpent brought to man, that would crush the power of the serpent. It would crush his head. It would reveal to man that the wisdom the serpent brought to Adam and Eve could never give them life and only give them death. And it would set man free from the one who had the power of death, which was the serpent, which was Satan. So when Jesus died on the cross, when he was dying on the cross, the Father was pleased that Jesus was being bruised because he could see that in Jesus being bruised, he was crushing the head of the serpent and setting all of mankind free from the one who had the power of death, which was Satan. It had nothing to do with the Father being happy because now he could get out his anger. That's the mind of Adam. Notice when Adam thought God was angry with him and he was hiding from him, did the Father come with anger? No, the Father came and said, Adam, where are you, man? Listen, I'm going to clothe upon you. The Father came and clothed upon Adam so he'd no more feel like he was naked, prophesying to all mankind, listen guys, you can't clothe yourself with your good deeds or the things you do, but only I can clothe you with glory. And I will give you my glory as a free gift. And I will come in the person of Jesus and clothe upon you with glory. Now where is anger in that picture? Where is anger anywhere in the picture between Adam and God in the garden? It's not there. It's not there. Adam means man in Hebrew, and it's a picture of the Father's heart for man. And what the Father felt for man when man ate from the tree and man sinned and man felt naked, the heart of the Father for man was, let me incarnate myself and die away their death and set them free from an identity that's defined by the flesh, and I will clothe them with my glory in the resurrection and the ascension of Jesus. Glory to God. That's the heart of the Father, and the Father even said, because people will say, well, Greg, he put him out of the garden, didn't he? Well, God said why he put him out of the garden. Lest they now go eat from the tree of life and live in this fallen state forever, meaning lest they go eat from the tree of life and I can't die away their death. I can't die away the identity that Adam established in the flesh. Let me now put them out of the garden unless they live in this fallen state forever. So when it pleased the Father to see Jesus being bruised, it pleased the Father because he saw the one who had the power of death. It says we were all the time in bondage through the fear of death because of the one who had the power of death. And so when it says that it pleased the Father for Jesus to be bruised, it wasn't saying that God was getting a kick out of punishing somebody. It was talking about him being pleased because the prophecy he spoke in Genesis 3 about the head of the serpent being crushed by the heel of the seed of the woman was coming to pass, and in coming to pass, he could gain many sons and many daughters. Glory to God. Hallelujah.